and the way in which our mind self all has cultural influences that give rise to those. So that relates to the interior quadrant, and that there's a cultural aspect to the way that interior states and stages are interpreted through my actual cultural aspects, if you can understand that. So that's in that bottom left quadrant. And then exterior to the cultural quadrant is the area of the systems that relate to all of those various again, like the stages or the different transcending holons within that system are things like galaxies and planets, and going up into different government systems, institutions, and things like that exist. So they're kind of the exterior systems. And so for each one of these different quadrants, there's also different disciplines that are investigating each one of those quadrants. So I'm not expert on what all of those are, but essentially you have things like certain sciences and stuff like that on the exterior quadrants, investigating exterior things through objective means. And then you have other methods for uncovering cultural aspects and things like that. And then through the subjective realm, the process of discovering is through introspection or epistemology. So through meditation and stuff is the way that it's actually discovered that these interior things are. And then you have crossovers as well, where actually an exterior can look at an interior quadrant from an outside view of the inside and stuff like that. That's how we get the stages of consciousness, where the interior of an individual is viewed via exterior objective means. So the way in which the stages of development, which came from that growing up stage, the way in which the stages of development were actually discovered was by the process of studying behavior at large. So although states of consciousness can be realized through introspection and actually noticed through meditation, the way in which stages are picked up is by studying large groups of people and then discovering that, okay, all people move through these certain stages of development and stuff like that. And then once we understand theoretically that these stages exist, then we can look at ourselves and say, okay, well, what kind of stage do I seem to be at? It's understood that each person kind of has a center of gravity where their stage sits. So that's the quadrants, roughly. And then there's just the idea of multiple intelligences, that there are various multiple intelligences that humans possess, and these include things such as kinesthetic intelligence, aesthetic intelligence, emotional intelligence, musical intelligence, values, sense of identity, cognitive development, moral development, and all of these different types of intelligence that exist within people can all sort of independently exist on different levels of those stages that I talked about, the stages that people move through, roughly from a pre-conventional to a conventional to a post-conventional stage. Each one of those lines, say it's moral development, can move from a pre-conventional to a more conventional moral intelligence to a post-conventional moral intelligence. And so all these various lines all are wrapped up in what is called the self. And so yeah, that essentially covers that. there are ways of understanding those multiple intelligences, and they also have a type of way in which they interact with each other. So the intelligences all have a type of interaction that occurs that has an effect on what the overall self of the person is. So yeah, that's basically just an understanding of those 4 processes of what spirituality is, and then an understanding of the quadrants, which shows how where spirituality fits in relation to things like science and stuff like that, and then just this idea that we have these multiple intelligences that can be developed, and that all of those in a type of combination constitute what the overall self of the person is. So yeah, that's just relatively brief discussion. All this stuff is pretty much discussed by Ken Wilber in his integral theory, and I'm kind of just reiterating it. And so if you would like to know more about it, you could check out the Integral website, which is integrallife.com, and just have a look at Ken Wilber, or you could look at spiral dynamics in order to find out about stages of development. And yeah, so basically it's just that yeah, this is kind of coming more to the forefront now in this time, that these things exist, and that there is this kind of understanding of ourselves, that we have these interior dimensions and can actually work on transforming our own self into higher stages and going through these states of consciousness. And so yeah, I might make another video just talking about what is integral transformative practice, and that's the way in which we use this type of theory in order to actually transform ourselves and have a greater experience of what life really is, and greater happiness and freedom and all of that, or what is enlightenment as well. And yeah, essentially that's it. If yeah, if you like the video, just like it, and you could subscribe to my channel. I'm making videos reasonably regularly. I've got a website called at mukundadas.moonfruit.com. That's Mukundadas, MUKUNDADAS.moonfruit.com. Although that's sort of getting to be an older website. I'm working on a new one at the moment. And yeah, so I hope that was helpful to you and was reasonably clear. It's even that explanation that I've given is relatively brief. There's a lot more to this if you read Ken Wilber's books and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you got something out of it, and have a really good day or evening. Thank you.